Hello friends, good morning. This is second part or concluding part of my first lecture, explanation of crime. We last time had seen Stephen's definition on crime and the objections on it. Stephen defined crime in another way also. He said that crime is an act forbidden by law and at the same time it is revolting to the moral sentiments of the society. So far as first part is concerned, there can be no objection. The act must be forbidden by law. But second part is objectionable, that the act is revolting to the moral sentiments of the society. There is very thin line of demarcation between the moral sentiments and immoral sentiments of the society, because morality is a concept which keeps on changing. It changes from time to time and place to place. There are many immoral acts which have not been punished in society or which have ceased to be punished. Adultery, lesbianity, homosexuality, live-in relationship. All these acts are immoral, but they are not punished. On the other hand, there are certain acts which are not immoral, but are punished. Treason. Therefore, Stephen's definition as such cannot be accepted. Having failed to define the concept of crime qualitatively, some of the textbook writers or jurists tried to put forward procedural definition of crime. Austin put forward a procedural definition of crime. According to Austin, a wrong which is pursued by the complainant or his representative is a civil injury, and a wrong which is pursued by sovereign and his subordinates is crime. In other words, one is public wrong, another is private wrong. So far as wrong which is pursued by the sovereign or his subordinates is concerned, the question arises, who is sovereign? We are governed by a written constitution. Under that constitution, no one can be subordinate, can be sovereign. Sovereign is the person who is superior to all and inferior to none. He commands obedience from the bulk of the population or people of society. Bulk of the people of the society simply means majority of the society. Leaving that debate aside, we can say state is sovereign, or state, if a wrong is pursued by state or his officers, it will be crime. This is procedure. It does not tell how an act is picked up from rest of the acts so as to label it as crime. After Austin, there have been many definitions. Keaton, Miller, Dr. Kenny, all have defined crime, but we can ignore those definitions as they break no new ground. Then we come to legal definitions of crime. Paul W. Tuppel lays down legal definition of crime. He says, crime is an intentional act or omission in violation of criminal law committed without defense or justification and sanctioned by law as felony or misdemeanor. Professor Ahmed Siddiqui says that in this definition there are many superfluous words and redundant expression. Now, Tappan says crime is an intentional act. The word intentional is superfluous because the act need not be intentional. It may be negligent act also. Criminal liability may be there. So that aspect has to be seen. Crime is an act. Then he says act or omission. Again, the word omission was not necessary because the act always includes omission. Then he says crime is an act committed without defense or justification. Now, if an act has been committed with defense or justification, it will not be crime. And therefore, use of the words committed without defense or justification is also not necessary. It is superfluous expression. These are superfluous words. Then he says, sanctioned by law as felony or misdemeanor. Felony, grave offense; misdemeanor, petty offense. This is not relevant so far as the definition of crime is concerned. Only requirement is that there must be punishment. When he says in violation of criminal law, punishment is implicit in it, and therefore again this total expression is redundant, that sanctioned by law as felony or misdemeanor. The definition may be put in simple words in following manner. Crime is an act in violation of criminal law. This he wanted to say. And if it is accepted in this sense, the definition becomes circular. We have seen in case of Blackstonian definition, providing no guidance as to which act is crime. After Tappan, we take Professor Sutherland's definition. Professor Sutherland was a great criminologist known for his book on principles of criminology. He says, crime is a behavior in violation of criminal law. Criminal law is the body of specific rules promulgated by political authority which are enforced uniformly on all the persons who are members of the group and backed by penal sanctions. There are 4 characteristics, and if these 4 characteristics are present, the law will be criminal law. What are those? Specificity, the rules of criminal law are specific. Political authority, the rules are made by political superior. Thirdly, uniformity, the rules are uniformly applicable to all the members of the group. Though this is not totally true, there are some exceptions to it. The rules are backed by penal sanctions, punishment. Now, the definition cannot be said to be circular because criminal law has been defined. Crime is a behavior in violation of criminal law. But the objection is whether crime is an act or behavior. If we accept Sutherland that crime is a behavior, then the definition of crime will be too narrow. Why? No doubt Behavior is a series of acts, but there is difference between behavior and the act. Behavior has repetitive tendency. Act does not have that tendency. If I am in the habit of taking tea in morning, every day I would like to have tea at that time. Repetition of behavior. But the same is not true in respect of crime. If one day in morning I have committed murder, it does not mean that in every morning I will commit murder or I would like to commit murder. So the definition becomes too narrow. Some sociological definitions have also been laid down as to the labeling an act as crime. Sociological definitions suffer from some defects. They put emphasis on one or other sociological variable. Sociological values keep on changing. However, we refer to Professor Gillian's definition. Professor Gillian says that crime is an act which is actually harmful to the members of the society or which is shown to be so by the group of the people which has power to enforce its beliefs and places that act under positive penalty. That is to say, such act is placed by this group or banned by this group and punishment is provided. Professor Gillian's definition that the act is actually harmful to the society are believed to be so, and the group of people has power to enforce its beliefs and bans such act with positive penalties. May be true, but there are certain drawbacks. How you will come to know that the act is harmful to society? There are many acts which are harmful in society, they are not punished. The sociological definitions are of less assistance to us, legal researchers and scientists. However, there is a jurist, Raphael Garfello. Professor Garfello developed the concept of natural crime. Professor Pranjape terms it as juridical conception of crime. Professor Garfello says crime is an act which is against the fundamental interests of the society. It offends the basic sentiments of pity and probity. Pity means respect for one's person and probity means respect for one's property. Certainly the definition is correct to a large extent, because offences are generally against the human body or property of the persons. Moreover, he was concerned with natural conception of crime. Researches have been made to know why the people commit crimes, and there is a school, Thymobiological school. scientific school of technology. Hooter and Sheldon are the main proponents of it. Sheldon says crime is a disappointing performance. Legislature lays down arbitrary definitions of crime which are of no assistance to legal scientists or scientists. These definitions need to be replaced, and he says crime is a disappointing performance and nothing else. We agree, crime is a disappointing performance because the man did not belong to the field of law, and therefore he did not say that such disappointing performance must be visited with punishment. We can add this, that crime is a disappointing performance which is punished by law. These are the definitions, and generally these are given, referred to explain the nature of crime. But what is the difference between crime and offense? In IPC, crime has not been defined, offense has been defined. Some authors trace etymological meaning of crime. It has been, in Latin it means this, in Greece it means this. We are not concerned with that. So question is, what is the difference between offense and crime? Second thing is that what will happen if IPC is repealed by Parliament? इलेक्शन कमीशन और हम सब लोग जानते हैं कि लेजिस्लेचर्स में क्रिमिनल एलिमेंट्स आर पर्सन्स ऑफ ड्यूबियस रिकॉर्ड आर इंक्रीजिंग, बढ़ रहे हैं दिन प्रतिदिन. हो सकता है कल मेजॉरिटी में आ जाएं और महसूस करें कि उनकी सारी परेशानियों की जड़ इंडियन पीनल कोड है. बेहतर है कि इसको एबॉलिश कर दिया. The question is whether murder will cease to be murder. What will happen if IPC is repealed? Think over these two questions. Thank you very much.